it says it's black. That's fine. I gotta mute my sound so I don't hear myself.
The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Yeah, the aspect is... Hello and welcome to Autism Live on Facebook Live and on YouTube at the same time. I'm Shannon Penrod. We're here at the Warner Center in Woodland Hills, California, and we thought that this would be a great day. I know a lot of people are going shopping. We've been having the Festival of Toys all the last 2 weeks, but we thought it would be a great time to recap some of the amazing toys that there are available out there right now for a wide variety of age ranges and a wide variety of price points, but we kept it in a price point that almost everybody can afford. If you're looking at the ball that I'm holding, this is one of my favorite things right here. There's a company called Imperial Toys that does it so well for our kiddos who are on the autism spectrum, especially for the younger ones. This is one of their balls, but it's got a green stripe on it, and that's why it's shimmering so much. It actually is green, but we work on a green screen. And you can't feel this, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's covered in a net. This is one of the lightest weight balls that I've ever experienced ever anywhere. And they come in all different styles and shapes, and there are some that have stars and they come in different colors. But all I had right now was one that has the green stripe on it, and it's green and purple. But it's very lightweight, and because it's got this net that's covering it, it's easier to grasp and hold on to, which is so important for our kiddos who are on the autism spectrum. You know, sometimes that hand-eye coordination is really a challenging thing for our kiddos, but we want to work on that. We know, and we've talked about here on the show, that being able to catch a ball is a skill that we now know helps with handwriting later on and helps with being able to ride a bicycle and tie your shoes. So don't give up on the catching and throwing a ball, but you want to make sure that it's reinforcing to the child. So if you can't catch the ball, it's not really reinforcing, because a lot of times you get bonked in the nose, right? And that doesn't feel very good. So it's super duper important to get a lightweight ball that's covered in something that's really exciting to the child, colors that they like and shapes that they like, but lightweight so that when it bonks you on the nose, it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt at all. You barely feel it. And something that's easier to grip. Well, sometimes there are balls that have holes in them, and for some of our kids that's great, but for other kids that's frustrating because they can't unhook it from their fingers. Having one like this, Imperial Toys, I'm telling you, they do it right, with a net, it makes it grippy, but it doesn't stick to you. So really fabulous. This is so lightweight, but it also bounces. Got to have a ball that bounces so that you can do different things with it. And this is a perfect size and shape for our kiddos. You can find it online at Imperial Toys, really inexpensive. But you know what else Imperial Toys is famous for? Is making bubbles. And there's nothing that's more reinforcing for our kiddos on the spectrum than bubbles. And here's the other thing about it for Imperial Toys is they don't just make bubbles, they make them in every size, shape, and with every sort of character on it that our kids love. So you go into any drugstore, they're going to sell the really low cost bottle of bubbles. You'll see it says Imperial Toys on it because they're the makers of all the great bubbles in the world. And you can do that and your kiddos love it. But later on, when you want something to be an extra special treat, here I've got a 3-pack of wands that have Dory on them, Finding Dory. So absolutely love that. Our kids love that. they can, pull out the wands and have bubble battles, all kinds of great things. So love that. But they also make all kinds of bubble machines. So here I've got one that's Spider-Man. For a lot of our kids, that's going to be the thing. But they make them in Frozen, Princess. They've got Finding Nemo ones, all kinds of different characters. And for this one, I love this because the bubbles shoot out where his spider web would shoot out. Any child will love this. This is a great tool to be using in therapy with a child who is on the autism spectrum because it's a great reward. So the child, we work on something and the child, we go, as soon as we do this, we're gonna get a couple of minutes of bubbles. You can turn on the machine, the bubbles shoot out, the child plays with the bubbles, we have a good time, and then we go, okay, let's put it away, let's do some more, and then we can turn the machine on again. Bubbles are very reinforcing. Our kids love them. And for those of you who are working on speech, bubbles is one of the first things that we give our kids who are nonverbal because the ba sound is a great sound to work for. So you turn on the bubble maker and you go bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. You turn it off and the child has to make some approximation of going and then you turn it back on. Eventually that shapes into bubbles. Sometimes it's the first word that they say, but we build on that. So bubbles, awesome. Imperial Toys, get them. They are amazing. So that's for the little ones. Then getting a little bit older, I love anything where our kids get to build and explore and put things together in different ways. And we know, and we're going to talk about some toys for older kids that are great for that I've got on the table. I got my Lux blocks front and center here. But for our kids that are a little bit too young for that, here's a great cause and effect building game. Gears. You can get this from Learning Resources. They've got a whole host of toys there that are really remarkable. This is one of our favorites. They put them together in tons of different ways. They turn the crank, the gears move. We're learning cause and effect, and you can learn colors with this game. Great game. Gears from our friends over at Learning Resources. Then, how much do I love board games? Well, let me check. So very much. One of our new favorite companies that we love for our little ones for board games is Peaceable Kingdom. They've got a line of games that are cooperative games that we really love. So everybody plays together as a team. You're learning socialization skills. These are really well-made games that have the environment in mind, so that everything, the way it's packaged, it's sustainable packaging. Love that, right? Truly remarkable games that you can work on so many different things. I've got 3 of them here and I love them all. It's like, pick which one you love the most. Hard to do, like picking your favorite child. Love Friends and Neighbors, Hoot Owl Hoot, and Stack Up. For your kids who love to stack blocks and then tear them down, this is a cooperative game that they're absolutely gonna love. It'll blow their minds. But I gotta say, for our kiddos who are on the spectrum, this is a must. You must have Friends and Neighbors. There are so many things that you're going to work on. Problem solving. It's amazing, you guys. Make sure that you get this game. If you know a little kid who is on the spectrum under the age of 5, you must get this. I'm just telling you, it's a have to. Peaceable Kingdom. You can get these online, but Target carries Peaceable Kingdom. So get yourself to Target and I recommend getting a couple of them, but I love it. This won the Oppenheimer Best Toy Award, Gold Seal, as did this. This won the Platinum. So the other one won the Platinum as well, Stack Up. So Peaceable Kingdom. Isn't it cool how my green screen takes out the green? I love that. So those are for our little ones. Now when you're getting a little bit older with our kiddos, you know what I forgot to talk about? The bubble guns. If you don't want to do the whole machine, this is another thing from Peaceable Kingdom. Love me some bubble guns. You know what else I love about this? This is portable. So if you've got a kiddo that you haven't been having difficulties with when you go out places, you bring the bubble gun with you, put it in your purse. You can take this to the park. It's a little bit easier than taking the bubble machine. These are so handy for behavior modification and for learning if you're on the road. Imperial Toys. Make sure you check that out. Okay, I think next what I want to talk about, as we're getting a little bit older with our kids, let's talk about the Lux Blocks next. This has been our favorite toy all year long. These are, I'm going to snap some of them off here. They're these little squares, and they come boxed in a starter kit. And I've got one of the starter kits. It's hiding here. I got so many toys. I'm so excited. Okay, so this is an 88-piece starter kit, Lux Blocks, spelled Luxblox. You can get these right now at Barnes & Noble and on Amazon, but they're coming close to selling out, you guys. This is the hot toy of the season. And these say that they are, I think it says 6 to 106, and as long as you have a child who doesn't put things in their mouth, you could go younger than 6, because these are amazing. So it's a little piece, right? They come in 3 different colors, and you snap them together. So for our little ones, what we found with kids on the spectrum, they really need to be working on their finger skills, because we want them to be able to write and fasten buttons and to be able to zip things up. But, you know, how exciting is it working on that? We want to get those skills in place by working on other things. Well, this, you put a pile of these down in front of a bunch of kids, they can't help themselves. And let me tell you, it's not just kids. Adults can't help themselves either. They start snapping them together, and it does take a little bit of hand-eye coordination, but it's so rewarding to them that they're willing to work on it. For real little ones, you might have to help them a little bit until they get it completely under control. But you snap them together, and you literally can make this fabric, right? That can be stationary, but it can move, and it can expand, and it can do, I'm telling you, you got to Google these Lux Blocks, and you will see all the different things that you can make. This, I don't even know what this is, but one of the people that I work with built this in the office the other day. Just, you know, took a couple of minutes, and then everybody else comes along and finds different ways to fold it up and do things and have all this movement with it. Lux Blocks, they are amazing. So very much fun. What you can do with them is endless, and it's all based on the inventors of this looked at people like Frank Lloyd Wright and Einstein and people of that ilk and thought, you know, what do they attribute their genius to? And they all said being able to play with blocks that allowed them to build different things when they were little. So they decided to take the idea of the block and bring it into the 21st century. And that's why it's called Lux, the principle block, because it deals with all the principles of the universe. But you know, kids don't have to know that. They can just build things with it. And I'm telling you, everybody in the family will have a ball with it. So that's Lux Blocks. As I said, these are coming close to selling out. You can get them on their website, Lux Blocks, LUXBLOX.com. You can get them on Amazon while they still have them, but they're starting to sell out. And they carry them at your local Barnes & Noble and other small specialty toy stores. But I'm telling you, get them immediately because they are flying off the shelves, all right? Okay, let's move on to one of my next favorite. Let's talk about more board games because I love the company Endless Games. Love them. They've got a lot of old favorites that you're going to love, endlessgames.com. But they've taken some games that maybe you played as a kid, but there wasn't a board game with them, and morphed it into more modern times and put a board game with it so that the rules are really well defined and really cool games. So one of the things I want to mention first is Cornered. Cornered is this great game, and again, it's taking out the green on this because we shoot on a green screen, but Cornered is a game that is amazing. You can play this with really small kids, and what we find is that it's a game for everybody, but kids on the autism spectrum happen to usually be brilliant at it. They're better than anybody else at the table at it. They have to take and match colored squares to other colored squares, and each piece only fits one place on the board. It really makes your mind kind of meld and go like, okay, what am I doing? But kiddos on the spectrum, so great. Talk about building self-esteem. Great game. It actually, they are working in conjunction with Autism Speaks now. It's got the Autism Speaks seal of approval on that. Great game. But another great game for kiddos who are on the spectrum who are a little bit older, Oddly Obvious. If you have ever had the opportunity to talk to somebody who's on the autism spectrum who has trouble with figurative language, double entendres and things of that nature, this is the game. Because you get a card and you can even play on the box here. There's a card and it's got all these words on it, and they're printed in different fonts and in different colors. In different directions on the card, and somebody whose turn it isn't, they will read a clue, and they'll say, for instance, on this one, it's saying something that's top secret. Okay, so we look at the card, and we've got all these different words. Well, the answer is a toupee. Well, I can tell you, having played this with my son, now we get into a conversation, and I might have to explain it to him. But once I explain it to him and he gets the humor of it, he starts thinking of language figuratively, because it's on the top and it's a secret. I probably have to tell him what a toupee is, but now he adds vocabulary. He understands, okay, a toupee, is on the top and it's secret. That's why it's top secret. We are working on language and figurative language and humor and taking turns and all those other things you work on when you're working on board games. We have seen our son's ability to understand and use figurative language jump just from playing this game. Oddly obvious. And guess what? It's fun. We sit and laugh and have a really good time. Okay, for kids that are a little bit older, best of the worst, this is a storytelling game where you get a card and there are two things on the card that they can talk about, and they want to tell the worst circumstance, like it might say, day at school, and so it's your worst day at school. Excuse me, and you have to tell a story about your worst day at school. Well, for a lot of our kids that we're working on conversation skills with, this is really great because you're going to take turns doing it. You're going to tell the worst time that you ever had at school, but you can lie. You can make up a story. And then everybody has to judge whether the people who played were telling the truth or lying. So we're working on conversation skills. We're working on things that we call saliency, where we're telling important parts of it so we don't wander off in the story and tell things that aren't important. We're working on looking at people and seeing if they're telling the truth or if they're lying, because all of our kids need to learn about what the truth is and what telling a lie is and what the tells are, so that they can see when somebody is lying to them. That's a safety issue. But we also need to teach our kids how to lie. We call that a white lie, because there are times in their life when they are going to need to lie, again, for safety issues. So great way to teach that, working on best of the worst. Again, this is from Endless Games. You can find all of their games on endlessgames.com, and then some of their games are available in Toys R Us and other small toy stores, which we love. There's two different versions of this now, Name 5. There's Name 5 and then Pop Culture Name 5. So I would tell you that if you've got kiddos that are, my gosh, I would get this. If you have a child who's on the spectrum, just get this game. Just get this one. Then when they're a little bit older, you can work on the pop culture one, maybe upwards of 8. But there's a lesson that we do with kids who are on the spectrum once we've learned how to label things, right? So they've learned, they learn basic things that they label, and then we start working on categories and features of things. So maybe they learn, this is a car, but then later on they learn all the different features of a car, that a car has wheels and a car has doors and a car has a windshield and a trunk. And then we start to differentiate between, what does a truck have that a car doesn't have, and what category are they all in? They're in vehicles, right? Because this is how you build language. There's so much to building language. And at some point, whenever we're working at one part of the lesson, we'll stop and we'll say, okay, now name 5 parts of a car. Okay, well, so there's the wheels, there's the windshield wipers, there's the windshield, there's the trunk, there's the glove compartment. I named 5, great. And we want them to be able to do it in a pretty quick way. That's called fluency. We want them to, to be able to do that. Eventually, you start running out of things, right? Well, Name 5 is exactly that, but it puts it in a game format, and you play with a whole bunch of people, and you can play with teams with little kids so that we want it to be fun for them, right? And parts of it are going to be hard for them, but when you're playing a game, you don't notice that it's hard, right? So, for instance, and there are many different colors on the back of a card that are different categories of things. So, for instance, on this card, name 5 purple foods. Well, that's hard. But you can do it with help. But for little kids, this next one wouldn't work. Name 5 movie remarks. That would be for older kids. So you can kind of pick and choose between the cards, but it will give you so many things to work on with your kids and be really fun. We take this even sometimes in the car that it's super duper good. And for our kids, a lot of times they don't know pop culture things because they've been busy working on other things, and we want to get them up to speed on pop culture things. This one is for those kids who are a little bit older, maybe in junior high age, where we're trying to get them up to speed on pop culture things. Play with a bunch of people, things like name 5 Adele songs. Yeah, I'd be like, I can think of them, but I can't think of them, right? And that would be a great thing to have my son paired with me, because I could say, oh, there's this song, and then he could help to remind me. Really, really, really fun for our older kids. So those are all from endlessgames.com, and check out what else they have. They have endless games. It's really, really cool, the different things that they have. Okay, now moving on, I want to talk a little bit about Think Fun, because there's a bigger set of my Lux blocks. We all love to think fun, right? Well, Think Fun is an amazing company that sells toys that are based in logic and deduction and being able to reason through things. Really love the stuff that they have. You can go to thinkfun.com. This one is called Codemaster, and the title is in green usually. Really deceptively super, looks like, oh, this is just an easy tic-tac-toe game. But it's tic-tac-toe with Sudoku with a little bit of coding mixed in. For our kiddos that are really into computers, this is a great game for them to be able to take in the car, work in teams, or work by themselves and solve puzzles. Really remarkable. For kiddos that are that age and a little bit younger, this is called Rush Hour. Love this game. It gives you a bag of cards. I've got them here. This is also Think Fun. I'm going to move this one out of the way. I get a bag of cards, and I've got this deck of cards underneath here. Each one is a different puzzle, and they're coded for beginner, advanced, expert, so on and so forth. So this is a beginner card, and it shows me an aerial view of how I need to set up my board. So I go through my bag, and I get out my little cards, and right away, for younger kids, we can be working on colors and matching, because they have to match the colors to the board and the picture. And that, for younger kids, could be all that they do. For our older kids, I can set up the board exactly how it tells me to set up the board, and I always have the red car. I'm not even going to bother to do this exactly, but the red car, I have to move my trucks around until I can find the configuration which will allow me to get my red car out without picking them up and moving like I just did, because I didn't set it up like the card. I played this last week with a couple of teenagers on the spectrum. We had a ball. Absolutely a great deal of fun. Check out Think Fun. Last year, one of the toys that we had from Think Fun that we featured on the show was something called Laser Maze. Oh my goodness, you guys. We had so much fun with that game, and so many kids love that game. They have mazes, which are great for kids on the spectrum. It's problem solving that uses an area of their brain that they're super involved in. So really wonderful. Think Fun, check them out. And then, of course, I didn't mention the card games from a bunch of different. Card games are great for our kids. Because not only are we working on all the things that we work on with board games, but we're also working on finger skills, holding cards, and it's social. You want to work on social games, get out the games, get out the card games and the board games. But okay, you guys, okay, I can't say the best for last, but I can say the best for last, because if you have teenagers that are into computers, oh my gosh, you're going to love the Make Me so much. This is this amazing thing that it comes with alligator clips. You plug it into your computer, any computer, And it has alligator clips that there's a metal board that it comes with. You clip an alligator clip to the metal board, and then you clip it to something else like a banana, and your banana becomes whatever button that it was hooked up to. So your banana can become your space bar. They can play a musical instrument on the bananas. Oh, the list of things that you can do is endless. I love this. On the top of the box, it said, it says, warning, extended usage may result in creative confidence. And I think that that's just the whole truth of the matter. I have watched kids play with this now, and you just watch them, they go, oh, you mean I can do this? Oh, you know what else I can do? And their brains go, poof. I just love Makey. These are available all over, but you can get them on Amazon. And they're available, makeymakey.com. Check them out. But these are going crazy too. Everybody's snapping these up. So get them before they're all gone. Absolutely. I've been so excited about this toy for months. I'm sorry. I get so excited. In any case, we had some comments, and I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to look at the comments. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a break. I'm going to take a peek at the comments, and then we're going to come back and try to answer any questions that you guys had. So go ahead and check out this clip. We're coming to you with a clip. It's coming. Welcome back. So we've been talking about toys, and I wanted to take a break. This was the first time that we were doing a Facebook Live in this format, and so the comments are in a different place, but want to say Brandy wrote in and said, so helpful, thank you. And Brandy, want to encourage you to check out some of the other shows that we've done on toys, because we love us some toys. Carol said, are they in the stores in UK? And I will be honest with you that I believe that all of these you can get on Amazon in some shape or form and have them shipped, but I'm not 100% sure. And it's getting close to holidays, so check and see. And Desiree said, so many fun things to play with. We have had such a ball. I want to say, too, that all of these toy manufacturers donated toys for our Sensitive Santa. We told them that we picked the toys first. Please know that. We pick the toys. I pore over toys and look at them and go, okay, what would be really cool? Then we reach out to the toy companies and say that we want to feature them on the show. And then we say to them, and we're doing a Sensitive Santa, do you want to participate in that as well? And all of these toy manufacturers were so generous and gave toys for our Sensitive Santa. And so we were able to give these to kiddos who were on the spectrum. And these are also going to be going to kiddos who are on the spectrum that you see here on my desk, which is a pretty fabulous thing. So we have a really good time in the month of December playing with the toys, and in October and November, playing with them before we pick them, and then having demonstrating them on the show and having them be put in the hands of kiddos that we know will make amazing things happen with them. So in any case, we'll have more toys for you next week because we're going all the way to the bitter end right before the holidays. But I thank you guys for being with us, and during this trial on our Facebook Live, we're going to be doing more of that coming to you next Wednesday. In fact, on Wednesday, we'll have Dr. Doreen Granpichet with us. She'll be answering your questions, and we hope to be here back on Facebook Live then. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me. Bye-bye for now.